We go. Commissioner Solson, please.
Yes, I know.
Thank you. All right. P and G regular meeting Monday, April 28th, 2025, 7 p.m. at the town hall in the Merrill Snake Room, 815 Riverside Drive, and on Zoom. The meeting is now called to order at 7 o'clock p.m. All right. We'll call, and the pledge, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll all stand here and take your hat off if we got hats on. You all set there, Michael?
I made it.
All right. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just before we get started, just for the sake of the folks here in the Zoom room, the monitor just died, which is not a problem, except that's also what we usually use for the speakers. So the speaker we're going to be limited to is on my laptop, which means if anybody is commenting from the Zoom room, I would just ask that you simmer down so you can hear them. I know it's a massive crowd.
Chairman's statement on the citizen comments, state your name and address, 3-minute speaking time unless otherwise directed by the chair. Please address your comments to chair in a civil and respectful manner. And if there are any applicants or anything, I would greatly appreciate it if you would come up to the mic within 4 or 5 feet. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, roll call and seating of alternates. When I call your name, say present. Joseph Brody Brown, no. John B. Lanky, present. Secretary Brian Benoit, present. Alvin Hill,
Alvin Hill.
Mike Krugel,
Mike Dougal.
Russ Robin.
Yeah.
Jane Salcy,
Here,
Ray Williams. Ryan Santos.
Here.
And Randy Blackman.
Here.
Kaiser, is Kaiser Beck
It
in?
is not.
Okay, Jason St. On is in, and Mr. David Popolowski.
Yeah,
You?
you sure?
we spilled that one.
You sure?
Commissioner Popolowski,
Yes,
Poplawski.
there I am.
Get the hang of it.
Yeah,
You will be seating in for Joseph Brody Brown.
big shoes to fill.
All right. First. Agenda on the item number 3, public hearing, none. Number 4, discuss public hearing and possible action, none. We go to number 5, citizen comments. Any citizen comments? Anybody in?
If you're in the Zoom room and you'd like to make a comment, either raise your hand using that function, or if you don't know where that is, just take yourself off mute.
Moving on.
Okay. On to item 6, approved minutes, regular March meeting. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Alvin Hill makes the motion, seconded by Brian Canoia. Any discussion? I'll give everybody a minute. Hearing none. We'll take a quick roll call vote. Start with you, Mr. Canoia.
Ryan Canori, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes. Mike Dougal, yes.
Jane Salcy abstained.
Abstained as well, wasn't there? I abstain as well.
All right, Randy Blackmer, yes.
And John B. Linky, yes. Item 5 and 4, so we pass with 5. That's good, that's. Okay, second on the item of number 6 is subcommittee meeting. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the subcommittee meeting.
I'll second.
Okay. James Olson. And open for discussion? Because you seconded.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was just gonna write down your name. Any further discussion? If hearing none, we'll do the same thing. I'll give just, when I call your name out. I mean, start with you, Mr. Canoia, again, it's easier.
Ryan Canori, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes. Mike Gold, abstain. Abstain.
Jane Salsa, yes.
Brian Santos, yes.
Jake Popowski, yes.
Randy Blackmore, yes.
And John B. Linky, yes. Passes, passes. With 2 abstaining, I'm sorry, the last one we had 4 abstaining, so just for the record. You got that?
Yeah.
All right, now the next item we have is number 7, applications received. P&Z 25-06, applicant SW House LLC, property owner of 374 Thompson Road, map 105, lot 40, lot 13. 13.1.727 acres, zone TCBD, request zoning permit with site plan approval by commission for a country inn and a 50-seat event facility in the existing bond and in compliance with zoning regulation. Article 2, 275-2-4 definitions, Article 9, 275-9 point and 275-9.2, number 9, and Article 4, 275.5, take that back, 275.4.4 A and B.
Yeah, they can share and they can share.
Yep.
So you know,
Is-
everyone else sit down.
Is there a motion on the table?
No, it's pretty. Well, if you want to get from the applicant.
Oh, I'm sorry, apologize. And.
And I'll, put one of the other folks as well. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
just state your name.
Yes, for the record, Norm Tebow, Killingly Engineering Associates. I am here representing the Watson Boutique Bed and Breakfast this evening. This property located at 374 Thompson Road. I'm sure that most, if not all of you, are familiar with. It's been operating as a bed and breakfast for a number of years. And what they are proposing is to have a 50-seat event facility in an existing building on site. This is the existing bed and breakfast. There's like a barn-like structure that's located kind of central and eastern to the property. That is currently built, and what they're proposing to do is have this small event facility. There's an existing driveway with access and egress to Thompson Road. That driveway has been there for quite some time. And what we did initially was submit this project to the Connecticut DOT. There were going to be some plans to widen and improve that driveway. However, the Connecticut DOT requires 550 feet of sight line if we were going to be doing any modifications to the driveway at all. And looking to the north, because of the vertical alignment of the roadway, we could only get about 380, 390 feet there. So when I contacted the DOT, because we have received waivers for these sightlines in the past, and what they said was they would grant waivers for single-family residences, but they do not grant waivers for any kind of commercial uses. You have to meet the sightline. So I said to him, well, this driveway has been here decades. The main building was actually built in the late 1700s, so it's been there for a couple of hundred years. And that driveway in one way, shape, or form has been there for quite some time as well. So I was told by the DOT, and they said that, well, if you don't do any improvements within our right of way, then we have no jurisdiction over it. So, in lieu of that, what we're proposing to do is have the driveway as it is right now. It is a paved driveway. It comes off of Thompson Road at kind of a skewed angle. But when the patrons are coming here, it's actually going to be, they're going to be parked by the ownership here. The people will stop, they'll get out of their cars and they'll be valet parked in this gravel area over here. Now, we've only got 18 parking spaces on site, but there has been an agreement reached with the church at the corner. And the last sheet of the plans shows that the proposed 374 Thompson Road is where we are. And this is shuttle parking at 347 Thompson Road. And that will be utilized for any kind of overflow parking. Once again, they're going to be valeted. The people can park down there. They'll be shuttled to the event and shuttled back to that parking lot. So the owners of the facility will have complete control over the parking situation, the access to traffic control, and so forth, to prevent any kind of conflicts on site that might be associated with that.
Yep. I'm good.
On sheet 4 of the plans, we have the septic system design. And because it is an event facility, they are going to require a lot more leaching area than what currently exists on site, which essentially at this point is just kind of an older cesspool system that's associated with the bed and breakfast. So as part of this, we're going to upgrade the entire septic system to be able to take the flows from the bed and breakfast and from the event facility, put it all into one system. A new updated modern system is going to consist of concrete galleries where you get a significant amount of storage in those types of galleries. This has been approved by the Department of Health. And we had to go back a couple of times, do some additional soil testing and so forth. And the type of system that we're shown here, you might notice that we've got these rows that are actually 50 feet apart from each other. And the reason for doing that is that because when you design a septic system, there are a couple of different things you have to look at. First is effective leaching area, which means, how much actual area do you need in order to support use of this type. But there's also another factor called the MLSS, which is the minimum leaching spread, minimum leaching system spread. In this particular case, the spread was really long. It was like 273 feet. And we did not have the area to have 273 feet of spread here. So in order to accommodate the site, there is a caveat in the health code that says that you can split that 273 feet as long as the trenches or the rows of leaching systems are 50 feet apart. And that allows there to develop the treatment that's necessary in order to sufficiently discharge. So this system is like that. We do have this piggyback system, as they call it. We don't use them very often, but in situations like this where you've got a tight footprint and you need a lot of effective leaching area, this is typically the methodology that we take.
May I just call to the chairman's attention, Kai's came into the meeting at 7:14 and
Okay.
you do have a seat available.
7:14?
Yeah.
Thank you. And
Sorry, Norm.
No problem, no problem.
just hang on 1 minute, sir. She'll be sitting in for Ray Williams.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Sorry.
welcome. Don't say sorry. You had things to do. That's okay, acceptable. All right, you may continue, sir.
Okay. As I said, we have gravel parking, for, up to 18 cars here. We are proposing 2 paved parking spaces for handicapped access. We have a handicapped accessible route, that will go from these parking spaces, right to the front of the barn, slash, event facility. I've also noted, on the plans, first of all, I might note that no, like lighting standards, any kind of like light poles or anything are proposed on the site. But any building mounted lighting, I've noted on the plans that it should be dark sky compliant, so. The intention is to make sure that, the lighting on the building shines in a downward direction. We don't have it shining upward, potentially impacting neighboring properties. All the details for the septic system are shown on sheets 7 of the plans. And then we have on sheet 8 of the plans, we've got the signage, proposed stop sign at the entrance, handicap parking sign, the accessible parking space dimensions, a detail for the pavement that will be installed, a small sidewalk detail, so we're gonna have a sidewalk just from the handicap parking spaces to the front of the building section there. And the breakaway post installation. We always recommend these breakaway posts these days so that if they are accidentally hit, then they just kind of fall over. There's a little cotter pin in the bottom of these things that just snap in the and it doesn't destroy the whole sign and the whole assembly that way. So I think that's rather it's pretty cut and dry. There's not going to be any food preparation on the site. They'll be serving. There's a small serving kitchen and prep area, but all of the food that will be served at these catering events is going to be prepared off-site. And the reason for that being that kicks it up into a whole other category with the septic system. Once you start preparing food on site and washing dishes and the potential for grease and things of that nature, then it really kicks up the flow rates rather significantly, up to like 30 gallons per day per seat in the event facility. This way we can get away with 10 gallons per day. It's about a third of the size, and we're able to fit it on site that way as well.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a statement before any of the commission members ask questions, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna ask you if you had anything.
Well,
to
thank
say.
you. So when we talked about the driveway eliminating the entrance because of the state restrictions, I was under the impression that there wasn't going to be any parking there. So I must have misunderstood you.
Right, yeah, there is parking there, but it will be valet
Okay.
parking, so
Alright.
they'll pull up to the front of the building. Their cars will be valet to these parking
Okay.
areas.
All right, because I had stated it was going to be all valet parking, but I didn't realize that the 18 spots were going to stay on the property.
Yeah, it'll be
So
valet
that'll be-
on site and valet off site as well. So no one will be parking their own cars and potentially creating any issues.
So that's a correction to my memo. Because it's in my memo, it says there'll be no parking on site. The other part that I questioned that we needed answers for in my memo was the historical factor, and Scott talked to the chairman of the Historical Society, if you wanna.
I did talk to Joe. He was happy with all the things that we've done with the house and with the barn. And they seem pleased to be agreeable to the usage that we're gonna be doing. They gave us their blessing.
So in other words, you kept it within the aesthetics of the,
Yeah.
the way the house,
Yeah,
Thompson Hill was put together.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
thank you for
It's
that.
got this historical house with, not a metal building there that would stick out like
Yeah.
a sore thumb. It really is, I think, in keeping.
You
with
keeping the old
Exactly,
stuff.
exactly.
Are there any other questions?
I'm good, everything.
Yeah,
that I reviewed.
Cindy's been very helpful. I've met with Cindy a couple of times on this throughout the process. She's really given us a lot of, good guidance and kind of pointed us in the right direction.
Have, my question to you will be, I'll get to you, Mr. Commissioner Santos. My question to you is with the parking that you're gonna be down using the church.
Mhm.
Just, you say it's valet, so they're gonna be somewhat escorted or given a ride from there to there?
Yes.
And, so you're gonna have, are you gonna eliminate any walking? Because there is no
No,
sidewalk.
there will be no walking, absolutely not. You got
I
850
know some people will be,
feet along the roadway.
right,
That, I mean, the intention is to not have people walking. Sure. I
didn't
know,
ask
I
the
know,
question.
I know it's human nature and people do things anyway, but, they will be,
So you're
they will be
taking all-
directed not to walk.
So you're taking all the precautions to.
Correct.
To minimize as much as that as you can. Thank you for
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Any, go ahead, Mr. Santos.
Did Jimmy look at this? Fire marshal?
I don't
Did-
know.
He's looked at the barn.
Yeah. I was just worried about like smoke detectors.
Yeah, we have smoke detectors and all the alarms and
Yep.
exit signs, all that stuff.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, the barn is fairly new.
Oh, okay.
So,
We
they obtained all the
upgraded
proper
wiring.
building permits and so forth.
The barn barn itself was 20 years old. It had insulation, what we did is sheetrock and cleaned up the inside.
Okay.
And we're gonna have, we put in heat, we put in smoke detectors, exit signs, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I'm looking on Google Earth. Is there enough?
Can I answer?
Go right ahead, Cindy.
So in my memo, I recommended that one of the conditions be that the fire marshal be notified that this is going to be, if you approve it. And so what happens with that is when I type up the special permit, I give the copy to the fire marshal, I put in yellow, mark it yellow, say, this is for you, to make sure that, he's compliant with all the fire regulations.
Okay. And then the neighbor there,
Helen Flood,
yeah. Is
Yeah.
there enough? I'm looking at Google Earth. It looks like there's plenty of trees and shrubbery where you're parking the car. That's
we
Worry about the
talked to
lights.
them, we were planning on putting up arborvitae's and they said, don't do it on our account,
okay.
so.
I see, well,
Yes.
Yeah, they-
I mean, it does look pretty
Well,
dense
they
already.
don't want a fence,
They don't want
okay?
this to say no.
And we said we were gonna put up arborvitae's to keep the headlights out of the house,
Yep,
and they said, don't do it on our account,
okay.
so.
Who are those neighbors? I want those.
Yeah.
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 They are wonderful neighbors.
Yeah, Helen, Jenny are.
You're all set with,
Thank
Dave?
you.
So, just to clarify, so in your NDDH statement, it says this is not construed as,
Dave already.
not to be construed as approval to construct a septic system and does not indicate Northeast District Department, standard, their standard.
Mhm.
Standard dialogue. So do you have to go for a construction permit?
Yeah, the actual installer does that. The installer does. So what we do is, we do the design work and submit it to the health department. And they send us that letter that says, it essentially says, yes, hey, it meets the health code. It's designed properly. You've got enough effective leaching area. You meet all the requirements. So what happens when the installer is ready to actually do the work? He takes that letter, a copy of the plans, pays his $600, and then he's issued the permit to construct at that point.
Okay, yeah, no, I got that. It was in relations to, you're not doing a building permit or anything, right?
No.
There's no modifications, no building permits at all?
No.
Okay, because it stated that and I didn't want to
Kind
have
of
to put a
like, yeah,
condition if you're not.
Canned language, I think a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, well, typically we'll put a condition on if it's related to the building permit, because this is not necessarily an approval. And, it says it until it's not an approval for a building permit.
It's,
blah, blah,
it's
blah.
not, yeah, it's not an approval to actually construct the system. It's an approval saying that the system meets the applicable health code.
Yeah, okay. That's all I have.
So what you're, on that note, Mr. Commissioner, is that even though the building's all done, all the building permits, everything with the fire code and all that, all you needed was because you're upgrading to accommodate, thank you to myself, these 50 people, because the
Correct.
system that there would not be able to handle it. So
Yeah, the
that's why
system that's
you need-
there.
Okay.
Minimally, if, for instance, say there was a big enough system on site that could handle this, and they didn't have to put in a whole new system, you still have to submit what's called a B100 application, which is a change of use.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
but the bottom line is with when you're making any kind of changes on site, you analyze it first of all for you take a look at the existing system, and if you are going to be discharging more than 50% of the use, like say for instance, you were approved for 500 gallons a day, and your proposed use is 200 gallons a day. They would allow you to discharge to that system, with the caveat that you'd have to demonstrate that you have sufficient area to expand it should the system not be able to handle it. You know, in this particular case, we're more than doubling what they already have out there, so it was necessary just to design an entire new system.
You're up there, Commissioner Salsi.
Okay, I just wanted to add, you're gonna have all food catered at this place. Okay, so that's a lot less waste. How about alcohol licenses or anything like that? Not going,
We're not going for alcohol.
okay.
You all set there?
Yep, I'm good.
Go
Thank you.
ahead there, Miss Commissioner Hale.
On acoustics, any loud sounds and. I mean, it is a historical district, and there are elderly people in that area, so. I mean,
Yeah, if there is loud sound, we've talked to our neighbors and, Ginny and Helen Flood are the two closest ones, but even across the street, we talked to that neighbor, and we've notified them. And all the people that we've talked with have given us the go ahead. And we told them that we're not looking to do late night, anything past 9 or 10 o'clock, so.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners?
Just one more.
Go ahead, Mr. Santos.
So did you look up the hours of operation? You guys talk about seasonal, right? I just want to make sure it's consistent with other venues that we've done in the past.
Right.
I think you've been actually a part of them, actually, but I'm just thinking about the one by West Thompson Dam.
Well, there's that one, and then there's the Mason House next, next week.
Isn't that-
I just want to be consistent with the hours that we allow.
Yeah, I mean, you're giving time, I think that would fine.
Yeah, not right this second, but
I mean,
we
we
did
did
make that a condition.
We haven't, there was nothing that really specified hours, in the plans, but, I think it's certainly the purview of this commission if you decided, hey, we really don't think you should go past 10 o'clock and,
Yeah.
You can do
We
that.
were pretty late. I think it was 10 on the other
Yeah.
ones, but I just wanted to make sure we're consistent with these,
Mhm.
with everybody.
Okay, I'll do that.
Anybody else? All set? Then I can move to ask for a motion. Close the hearing. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay.
It's not a public hearing.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not a
Not a
public
public
hearing.
hearing.
It's like plan
Yeah,
review.
it's site plan.
I would like. Go on, that,
I'll motion to approve PZC application
what-
2506, and I will give my condition back to the approval.
section, is there a second?
I'll second.
Randy Blackman, Mr. Blackman?
That was
Oh,
me.
he did? I'm sorry. It sounded like the two of you.
All right. You get
But
good
that's
ones all
all-
the time.
With that in your mouth, and couldn't tell who it was.
And my first condition is to have the fire marshal review and approve. And then my second one is to
I'm sorry, Brian, could you repeat that again?
the fire marshal to review the plans and approve.
That's part of the building permit.
I realize that, but Cindy made that recommendation too, so I'm going to just.
But I don't think it's a building permit, that's the.
It's not a building.
There's not a
permit.
building permit
Yeah.
associated with this.
Yeah.
That's why.
That I told you.
Huh?
The fire marshal would be involved.
If there was a building permit, but they're not modifying
Right.
anything, so,
And
yeah,
that's why
yeah.
It's part of
I'm
that.
asking for that condition.
That's fine, and they have it sounds like it's a
Yeah.
emergency egress and smoke
Yeah, but they only made the change inside, they did insulation or whatever they did.
So if that's what the
Oh,
commission wants to do, is we can strike that one, the only other one is to make it.
I
consistent.
can't hear what you're saying, I'm sorry.
The only other one is to make sure that we're consistent with the hours of operation
Okay.
and seasonal use.
No, we need the fire inspector.
And what I'll do when I write the permit up is I'll state the hours that we have given to other and just send it to this.
Okay.
Okay.
We do want the fire.
We want the
Yeah.
fire marshal because there's no building permit associated, so
Still
the
need
fire
the-
marshal wouldn't be contacted unless we put it as a
No.
condition.
Yeah, you have that as a condition.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got it.
fine. You guys confused me clearly.
You got it.
Two conditions.
Yeah.
Fire marshal,
Is everybody good?
Yeah,
Okay.
hours of operation.
What were they again, Brian?
Any more conditions or anything going forward? If not, we'll take it to a vote. We'll start with Mr. Blackman this time.
Randy Blackmer, yes.
Dave Paplowski, yes.
Ryan Santos, yes.
Jane Salsa, yes.
Russell Rob, yes.
Mike Vogel, yes.
Calvin Hill, yes.
Ryan Canori, yes.
John B. Linky, yes, and Kai Zor,
Kaiser Levac, yes.
unanimously passed. Congratulations.
Okay, you will get your letter in the mail.
Yes, yeah, good.
Thank you very much.
It looks nice. I went past when you were outside the other day working. You've done a great job.
All right, children.
It was so easy, Dave.
It's too easy. You get confused when it's easy, huh, Brian? All right, we're on to the next application.
Thank you. Good luck.
Drive by everything.
And thank you very much for what you're doing up there.
We're trying to be good neighbors.
Well, you're gonna bring some revenue.
Yeah.
All right,
New
now the
antennas.
next applicant, P and Z C 25-09, applicant Dave Coleman, property owner of 0 Hackstrom Road, map 19, block 85, lot 6A, zone RRAD, gravel operation renewal under zoning regulation 2012, article 9, section and section F. You're up, Mr.
Yeah,
Coleman.
I just, want to verify that the questions, I guess, was brought up at the last meeting about the,
Can you come in on within 5
Hello.
feet, please?
the address is 0 Actual Road, that's where the pit is. And there aren't any trucks, I haven't been hauling anything out in years, I just want to keep the permit active as, just in case, eventually.
So in other words, 0 Hackstrom Road, that's where the,
That's
off from the corner of the end of Hackstrom Road and
It's
Baby.
behind, yep,
Yeah,
it's
it's
on,
on Woodstock.
it's up in the woods, it's.
No, I mean, the entrance is, it's Hackstrom Road.
The entrance is off of, Paving Woodstock,
That's what we wanted, was to
Is
get
that-
the access,
the access to the pit
yeah.
Yes,
is Paving Woodstock Road, that's,
see, that's where where the question was last.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Back here, yeah.
so there's this entrance here. It goes up to phase 3.
No, yeah, I'm coming in right here,
So, and you come
Right
in
here.
here now. Okay.
yep, right through, yep. To phase 1, I haven't been anywhere near phase 3.
Okay,
Phase
so
1.
why has it been 0 Haxton Road all these years?
So,
See, that's
That's-
where the.
well, that's what I was issued
Okay,
for the address because.
okay, who issued the address? You know?
The town,
Oh, okay, all right.
Had
Yeah, that's
a-
before my time.
That was
so-
before you.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's,
So,
You
Yeah.
don't have a legal right of way across
Yeah.
what's Sherman's land now, though, do you?
I have an agreement. To go through, I have a right of way.
Okay, right away from what? What's that? Well, I was questioning, I was just trying to clear up the muddy situation about, whether it should be Hagstrom Road or Fabian Woodstock Road. Access to the pit is
Phase 1 and 2 at this time, yeah.
Fabian Woodstock Road.
There, yeah, but you know, there's also through the farm, I mean, we still go.
through the farm, but not with trucks. The trucks are going
So-
out.
This is you, right?
If
So
I
I think
have
we're-
trucks.
I
This is it.
think we're,
That's paving. Stuff over here. Oh, okay. Yeah, because this is
Brian?
action over here. This is your entrance right there, is that the bit?
That's a bit. And that, yep, and that's the access,
that's it,
and
right
that's
there.
my daughter's house,
Yeah.
that's actually, that's the road that the kids use.
Yeah.
But the trucks always came in and out, and that's their access.
Yeah.
I do have the agreement with Sherman, but we don't have it all.
don't worry about that if you ever wanna use it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so if you get to phase 3, would that still get trucked out this way, or would you be going out?
No, that I would go out through, Hackstrom, to
Okay.
Hackstrom, correct,
But you gotta get there first.
because of the stream. So,
Oh, okay, that's on the other side of the stream,
Yeah.
so,
separates phase 3 from 1 and 2. So, that's what the town said, go that way instead of putting a pipe in.
So,
Oh, I see.
okay,
It's gotta go across this way.
so Ms. Dunn, if whenever he ever has, put this in your notes and keep it there, that if he ever gets to phase 3, the entrance will be off of Hackstrom Road.
Yes, and I'll put that in the permit,
Yeah.
the renewal.
I think it's it's also.
It's
in
probably in the
agreement.
original.
It is there, yeah.
Okay.
Just,
Absolutely,
Yeah, but,
you know, what's the call? Cross the T and dot the I?
yes, sir.
yeah, I have your original folder here, so if anybody wants to look at it.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Hill.
talking to the assessor today. You requested for you to go to the assessor's office and change it from 0 action to 0 Fabian Woodstock. So 1 and 2.
Okay,
Because at this point,
okay,
your
I'll go to the-
property is landlocked,
yes,
and I don't know who owns the land
Well-
adjacent to you on Hagstrom.
okay,
But anyway, it's not, I mean, I'm just
that's fine,
quibbling about the Hagstrom Road, because, you know, Ramco years ago.
Correct.
Always used Fabian Woodstock with those 80,000-pound vehicles.
right, yep,
I can't imagine Alan Sherman going over his land with an $80,000 truck.
Yeah, yeah.
Where the Fabian Woodstock Road is paved. And the entrance is in support of it.
I'll go change it.
Any other comments from from the commissioners? Okay. Ms. Dunn, everything all set with you?
No, the only thing, did you, address, Ray had a question about the trucks and it's just, so I asked Dave about the trucks going in and they're certainly not gravel. Is there anything?
There's nothing,
Nothing,
nothing has gone in and out in
okay.
years.
All right. We thank you, Mr. Coleman.
I thank you, everybody. We're good?
So far,
Motion, I
so I'm just gonna ask for a motion for this.
Okay.
No, that's okay.
I'll make a
Make a
motion to
motion.
approve PZC 2509.
Application 275.
Was that? You,
I had Dave and Randy.
Dave and Randy, okay.
Just what's the condition on this street thing? That was not.
With the condition that.
What, you're putting a condition on the street now?
No, just the.
wanna change
Both addresses
one,
on
two,
it, changes to
to
0
Fabian
Fabian
Woodstock.
Woodstock.
That's all he's gotta do. That's all he's gotta do is to go to the assessor's
We're gonna
office
have
and it'll
both,
change.
both addresses on there, because if he ever gets to, the third.
Phase 3.
Phase 3, he's
Yep.
gonna need to go through Coleman, so he doesn't have to cross the brook. I mean, go through Sherman's.
And build a bridge.
South Coleman's.
Yeah, have that there, Ms. Dunn.
Mhm.
All right, we have a motion by Dave Pop and seconded by Randy to accept P and Z C 25-09. To approve.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just reading what was just done. Okay, so now we'll go to, for a vote. So will you, Mr. Canoia?
Brian Canoyer, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes.
Mike Kogo, yes.
Russell Robin, yes.
Jane Salsa, yes.
Brian Santos, yes.
Dave Popelski, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes.
John B. Linky, yes. And Kai Zor?
Kaiser Levesque, yes.
Thank you. Unanimously passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
We go to item 8. Application received after the agenda was posted.
None.
None. Thank you. Order number 9. Oh, the best parts. Report of the officers and staff. You're up, Mr. Canoia.
Okay. All right, for the period ending March 27th, we have a total available budget of $17,377.70. We have used 64% year to date. Current available, current year-to-date expended $30,882.30. Line items were town comp for zoning officer, as well as the recording secretary. Breakouts on the budget, we have the chapter housing forum that we attended, so there were 2 of us on that one, on this line item. 2 for the Connecticut Bar Association fees and federation plans, totaling $240 and $280. And the conference for CLCC was all lumped together, so that was at $480 on the breakout there. Other charges are standard. Those are the Stonebridge Press, as well as the Shopper's Guide. We do provide the legal notices for the Shopper's Guide on there for each meeting. And those are all as standard charges. They were totaling $284.20 and $249.90 on those. Let's see. Going down, we also have a breakout for Chase Graphics in the amount of $35, as well as $22.50. And we also have a WB Mason supplies charge for $17.47. That completes all of the line items broken out, and the original budget, as a reminder for the year, was we started with $48,260, and as referenced earlier, still have $17,377.70.
I have a question for you there, Mr. Secretary. Sure. Did you include the money that we okayed for the ZBA?
Did I include the money from the ZBA? No, I did not.
What was it, like $200 and something for 4 people?
Yeah, something like that. I have to look at the invoice.
Yeah,
Okay.
we gotta add that on. there.
You gotta add it on.
Yep, thank you.
Not your fault, it's just,
While we're on the
Well,
subject too.
That will be deducted from that line item, because when I did the invoice, I did it for PZZ.
Yes.
Charged the PZZ budget.
but it
Yes.
should be noted.
Oh,
that
okay,
it was
all right,
Yeah, we'll
ZBA,
yeah, okay.
have a breakout for ZBA, and then we'll have a future line item too. Flax.
that would be correct.
Yeah.
Any questions or anything from fellow commissioners?
So that'll reduce the amount by 340 for those 2 items.
Somewhere along down the road, we would have been sniffing for it.
Yep.
Is there a motion to accept the budget report by the, from the Secretary Treasurer?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Mike Lugo seconds it. Jane motions. Any discussion on it? Hearing none. Mr. Blackmer, start with you.
Randy Blackmer, yes, I approve.
Dave Popelski, yes.
Brian Santos, yes.
Jane Salsa, yes.
Russell Robin, yes.
Mike Kogo, yes.
Alvin Hill, yes.
Brian Canoyer, yes.
John B. Linky, yes. Guy Zor,
Kaiser Levesque, yes.
You, passes unanimously. Now we're off to the planner. You're up.
Not much active right now. As you know, your annual updates that you voted on were official as of, I want to say, March 20th.
Sounds good.
So those are getting bundled with the ordinances that will have been passed, and they've been sent to the contractor to update that online. I have not received notification as to when we can accept that, but I will let you know. We had loosely discussed starting the subcommittees for the 2026 amendments in July. I think that is still a good time to start. It's after the fiscal year rolls. As always, if anybody has any topics they would like to include for that, forward them to me so I can start compiling a discussion guide. Obviously, you will have to decide what you want to do about the cannabis micro cultivator moratorium. That's obviously the one must do. I think wetlands and Cindy and I have some stuff to discuss, maybe about adjusting the language in the graveling regulations based on some stuff that's come up. But other than that, I have nothing. So if anybody else has any topics they'd like to introduce for discussion to update for next year, get them to me and I'll do my best for them. I have not yet received, but expect shortly to get sometime in May, I imagine, a notification about the event for the Connecticut chapters of the American Planning Association. JBL, Cindy and Ray went with me last year. That is another one of the particularly good conferences that happens every year. It is generally on a Friday all day, so not necessarily the easiest one for,
That's Mark Twain, right?
that's the one at the Mark Twain House, unless they change the
Great
location,
place.
but it's been there ever since I've started going.
Nice. Nice thing. You get to go through the museum after if you want, because you're already inside.
Yeah, it's a really good event, really good presenters and a nice location and a good lunch. So I will let you guys know when that comes up. That's all I have for real commission business. I will share the information for those who don't already know. That title was transferred on the big mill. 929 Riverside Drive is now legally owned by our developer. So still working on finalizing the brownfield grant, but that was one of the key pieces we needed to finalize that. So that will actually start moving forward, and I would expect sometime in the next 6 months, you'll probably see the developer with a real application. So
Nice.
something to keep in mind. That's all I got.
Thank you. Now, up to you, Ms. CEO.
I went to, finally, after a couple of years of COVID, everything, I went to a Casio meeting. And there were two speakers there. One was Mulaney Bachman from Signing Council. And she was good. The other one was an attorney talking about the fines that we can distribute when there are serious violations. And handed out a nice packet, and that beautiful packet's still sitting on my desk. But I will be looking at it shortly. That's one of my reports from under old business. The other item that we have is a Northeast Sand and Gravel. There's the owner, wants to pursue getting a buyer for it. And we did meet with the buyer a couple of weeks. No, Tara met with the buyer. I didn't meet with him. And
Yeah, you and I met with the owner.
with the owners, yes, that's who we met with. And by the way, it's very, very friendly and wants to do whatever he can to get that property sold and get it back sold and get it back into the condition that we're looking to. So there's two processes of reclamation. One process is the inland wetlands. The agent is asking her whole commission to go there and to look at what any damage to the inland wetlands. Mainly, the inland wetlands was on the perimeter of the property, but they feel there's been some damage inside the property and in wetlands, so they're planning, I think their site walk is for 10:30, May 10th. I couldn't go at 10:30. So I scheduled, and I seriously felt that it's just totally two different subjects. And so what I scheduled is 8 o'clock, May 10th in the morning. And, one of the commission members I've been talking to, which is Brian, is, you know, pretty knowledgeable, in looking at and seeing what needs to be, what they need to reclaim in relationship to our regulations. And the engineer, I guess is Mike, is he an engineer for Steve? But Steve's representative, professional representative is coming with us that day. Because Steve can't, because his daughter's getting married. And so it'll be Mike, Brian, myself, and you can't, I don't feel it's a commission meeting, like a sidewalk, because we're looking at the regulations to see what has to be done. So, but if anybody else wants to come, except you can't go over 5. If you'll go over 5, then you have a meeting.
May 10th?
Yes, May 10th at 8 o'clock.
Did you verify that, Cindy? Because I thought it was any more than 2 would constitute a meeting.
But I know for wetlands, it's, okay, I can verify that.
Yeah, I would just
Yeah.
be sure that,
Yeah,
because
okay.
if it ends up that there are more than a certain number, it's a simple matter to notice that it's a site walk and an official.
Yeah,
No, you just don't wanna get
it is, it's just, I know, Amy wants to go, the selectman wants to go too, so she's coming with us at 8 o'clock.
And that is a Saturday morning.
Yeah, that's Saturday morning. So we're moving along with that. The reclamation, I wrote a letter up for Steve and
Cindy?
so whoever wants to go, let me know, and I'll find out about if it's gonna be a meeting or not, and then I'll send you what I sent to Steve, for reclamation.
This was before you, but I'm gonna ask Mr. Blackman, remember when we did the sidewalk for French River LLC? We had, with Mary Ann Chinardi and everything, we had quite a bit. Was that constituted a meeting?
Beat the hell out of me.
I can check, I
I
can
know
call
that's
Mary
why
Ann,
you remember.
she'll let me know, she's in Putnam, so let's call Mary Ann.
Well, yeah, why don't you do that?
I
Because,
will.
because
Okay.
when they were getting ready to do that,
I don't recall.
I mean, Mary Ann is
There you
definitely
go,
a
Randy.
stickler for Robert's rules,
Oh,
so
yeah, yeah.
she will be able to tell
Yeah,
you
I'll
That's
with
right.
clarity
Yes,
whether
that-
that is.
thank
I'm
you
pretty
for that.
friendly with her, I see her whenever I go into town.
I would suggest you do it because that was one of the sidewalks we did when they were proposing that, to do that way back. So
Thank
that would be a good idea to check with her, and she's,
Okay,
because I know there was quite a few of us members besides her and everything.
yeah, thank you, I'm glad I brought this up, thank you for more help on this. Appreciate that. So that's all I have under a report, the rest of the information I have under the old business, and I've sent memos out for, I think, just about every item. I did send a memo out for continued discussion approval of sale of property, because I wasn't involved in that after last meeting.
So
Everything else,
we can move on.
yes.
Thank you. Number 10, correspondence.
Alvin, you all set? It seems like you wanted to say something about the gravel.
What's that?
Are you all set with the gravel mining? It seemed like you wanted to say something.
I'm on May 10th, I'm definitely going.
Want to come?
Okay, all right, so I guess,
Send that
yeah,
information.
okay, all right, I'll be right.
Do we need a consensus for?
That's why I brought up.
I know. I was waiting for him to
It
say
has to be a meeting,
something.
I have to publish it.
What's
I
that?
have to post it, it's gonna be a meeting.
No, they can, first of all, Mr. Canoia, let Cynthia find out from Mary Ann Chinardi
Okay,
what would constitute if we have to, if it ends up, we're saying we're gonna have 7 people or 6 or 7 people, which would constitute a majority. Okay, so now we have to have it posted, that it's a sidewalk.
5 under is not a quorum, so.
What's that?
5
under is
not a quorum.
Yep. So you can't have a meeting
It's-
without a quorum,
Well, you can't take any action without a quorum.
action.
But
action.
I will not say that I'm positive, but I have it in the back of my head from one of those FOIA workshops that we went to early on, that
Okay,
it's any more than 2 members of the body, whether they take action or not, could be construed as in the legal meeting. So you've got to notice it, you've got to create minutes for it. I think it's more than two, but maybe it's just
Okay.
You know what?
anything that's a quorum or above.
Okay.
You're
all
right, that was said at the library many moons ago.
Yeah, I think,
Yes.
yes. you
Yeah,
and I were
that
both
meeting
there.
that we all went to that
Yes.
day, okay. All right, good. Yeah, okay. I'm finished with that. Thanks for your help.
Yeah, I can put it in fourth gear now. All right, correspondence, the Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning Agency quarterly newsletter. Town of Webster public hearing notice. The town of Douglas notice of planning board public hearing. Town of Webster notice of a public hearing. Proposed wireless telecommunication tower facility 90, Route 171, Woodstock Ave West.
Here it is, right here, if anybody wants to look at it.
Woodstock, Connecticut. The application booklet is in the zoning office for review. Thank you for showing it to us. I have a question for you.
There'll be
On-
twice later.
The town of Webster's public hearing, did they just have a meeting about the border?
Did
Did
they?
you hear anything about it?
I did not.
Because somebody asked me about it, and I said, well, nobody from our group, from our commission went to it or whatever, because we weren't sure.
Dr. Shami, you mean?
Yeah, Dr.
Oh.
Shawn.
I mean, I can tell you what I know about the status of that right now.
Okay,
Um,
well, some status is better than nothing.
Yeah, so as you guys know, or at least I assume you know, the town of Webster filed a complaint and appeal on the first approval that you guys gave, which you corrected the error in the notice by having the second public hearing. Both of those were approved. The town never filed a complaint and appeal, the town of Webster never filed a complaint and appeal on the second approval. So the town's attorney has filed a motion to dismiss the first complaint and appeal. And you can look it up on that website where you can look up the public cases docket. And all the information is there. So obviously, Dr. Sharma is interested in getting going over there. Keep telling him to pump the brakes until the complaint appeal is resolved. So best estimate from our attorney is that it's probably a 4 to 6 month process now that land court has it, just because that's their backlog. So I will certainly let the commission know once that truly resolved. It has no effect on you being able to sign the Mylars, which is your next agenda item,
I understand, but it's better to have the information, so
but yes.
we ain't dancing with this.
Well, if anybody for any reason gets called in, it's gonna be the applicant, me, maybe Cindy. Possibly the chair, but it's not, I don't think it's gonna be that involved.
It's better be prepared than not prepared.
I am thoroughly prepared, I can tell you that.
I'm not saying you're not, but thank you. That's why I asked that question. It's just information is better to be out there then. Okay, now we're on to number 11, signing of a Mylar.
Make a motion.
Whoa. P and Z 2432 applicant Ishawam Shama, 1 Ratani Road, Realty Trust, owner of 1410 Thompson Road, map 15, lot 27, lot 21, zone RRAD, 49.53 acres, special permit for a multi-housing 16 single-family homes, 4 duplexes, community building, according to the town of Thompson zoning regulations. Article 7, 275-7.2, number 14, and Article 4, 275-4, A and B and C. Is there a motion?
I move the,
No, he was already ready to go.
well, he didn't say it, so I was moving this thing along.
All right,
I'll second.
Dave seconds, all right. Okay, any discussion?
Sign away.
Hearing none. How are you, Mr. Canoia?
Ryan Canor, yes.
Elvin Hill, yes.
Mike Gogo, yes.
Russell Robin, yes.
Jane Salsi, yes.
Ryan Santos, yes.
Dave Plowski, yes.
Randy Blackmer, yes.
John B. Linky, yes. And Kaiser,
Kaiser Levak, yes.
thank you, unanimous.
We had Randy and who was the second?
Dave.
Dave, thank you.
Didn't mean to step on you, Joe.
All right, get it moving. Good.
All right. Old business, review of violation at 1097 Thompson Road.
Okay, so can I speak?
It's yours.
So, did everybody read what I wrote on okay, 1097? I'm glad I used the word, I hope I could get a letter done by today, you know, we can all hope, but it didn't happen. But what did happen today, is I got a call from the state sheriff's office. And it seems that this Mr. Zachary Harris, who has created this turmoil out there, owes somebody in Florida $11,000. And that person is pursuing it and wants him arrested. I believe that Zach has actually disappeared. I heard by the wayside that, he had an ad out in the shopper, in the marketplace to sell a vehicle because he was moving to Florida. He is pretty much absent. I mean, there hasn't been any activity out there for the last couple of months. One person called me and told me, no, she has not seen him. And another person called me, yes, there is activity out there. He is there. There's only one person that lives in those there were 3 apartments. One was illegal. There were 3 apartments. There is now only one person, the sheriff told me today. He is going back out tonight to see if he shows up tonight on the property. So we don't really know where he is. He did sell his recycling business. So that was a little bit of encouragement. And the other thing, I don't think I mentioned that I have called maybe I did mention, I have called the owner twice and left messages. He has not returned my messages. And, the sheriff today told me that he called him and he has not returned his messages. I do know the owner is having some building issues with another piece of property with the building office, serious building issues. So, I have to research that packet they gave me last week at Casio meeting on the fine.
I was just gonna ask you,
Right.
when can we start
And-
levying?
Yeah, you know, and I will, if would you like to see the letter before I send it? I am going to show it to Amy too, because she has been getting calls and calls and calls on it. Would you guys like to see the letter, ladies and gentlemen, like to see the letter before I send it? Okay, so I'll email it to everybody. When, I get, Rich's approval.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because it will, truthfully, it'll be the first time I've imposed fines in 7 years.
so get him.
Yes,
Thank you for that.
okay,
I'll let you know,
Persistent.
Cindy, I've only seen that one car now. There was
yeah,
2.
right, there's, yeah.
I've only seen that one, so I'll let you know if I do see the second.
Okay, and I know I had sent to the property owner that he had unregistered cars there.
Yeah.
And when he did talk to me on the phone a while ago, he said, I will tell them to get their cars registered or get them out of there. So,
There's a truck with Massachusetts plates back up to
Exactly, yeah,
that garage.
yeah.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I saw that the other day
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a picture of that.
Yeah.
So,
I believe someone probably 2 or 3 weeks ago was inside that building.
Inside the building,
Was inside the building, but it was very short and
yeah,
then
it
gone.
might have been the property owner,
Could have
to
been.
see what he left,
Yeah.
see if he left any valuables in the building.
Yeah.
So.
So it's not at auction. It got that guy.
Oh, no,
financed
no,
it.
I got the court report, they had said, you know, I put my name on the
I think
list to
I
get,
saw that, yeah.
the report, so I got that, and so I guess he managed to find financing for it,
Yeah,
and so he kept it.
all right. If I see any activity,
Yeah, I
I'm
would
sure
love
Ray
to.
will too.
Yeah,
I'll
that
let
would
you
be
know.
great.
Yep.
So that is that one, and Hemlock Properties.
Okay, we'll go to B.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so, very simple, he has 178 cubic yards left according to the records that, Mr. Blanc gave me. And there was an issue, with wetlands. I explained everything, you know, in my write-up. Did everybody read that? Do you have any questions on it as to what we did with wetlands, etc.? Looking at me strangely like you don't know what I'm talking about, Alvin, are you?
Gravel operation 365.
No,
No,
no, zero,
no.
zero Riverside Drive.
The mining of the ledge. 2 different operations, Alvin.
I don't, I didn't see it on that list.
Alex LeBlanc and
So did everybody get it?
Yeah, they were kind of messed up. It took me a little while to get it all put into order, so
Well, that's, okay. All right.
I won't beat you up
For
over it.
notes. All right. No, I put it out, A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Here's how they
No,
go.
it would take me, when I got my packet, it
Okay.
was not even close.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right, so if everybody could pull out the old business B, what I wrote up for you. There's just one area. I mean, if you have any questions on anything else, I'd be glad to answer them. Alex called me today. He did take one truckload out the Thursday that we went and did the site walk. And he took 2 more out to Friday, and I wasn't in Friday, but he did call and leave a message. So what I like to pay attention to is the section I pulled out from the inland wetlands meeting. The comments on the special permit that were made. We only require a special permit after they go over 1,500 cubic yards. So I take exception to those comments there. And more than that, I take exception, and I would like, it is my request, and you can do it or not do it. The second page, the sentence, the amount of cubic yards removed from the site was also questioned. I think that should be removed from their minutes, because I did not question it, and the records were given to me, and that's what we require as a commission. I do not question them. His truck is 13 cubic yards. That's the maximum he can go over the state roads without getting fined. And he knows that because he was fined 10 years ago, $8,000. So I would not think this man would want to be fined again. So unless someone has proof that the cubic yards that he gave me are not true, I would like a request from the commission to write a statement to the Inland Wetlands Commission that they retract that statement, because it really, unless they have proof. To either give me proof, what,
We need.
right here, I gave you the list.
yeah,
I attached the list, it's right here.
Yeah, with all the numbers.
The list, but who verifies those numbers? Is that?
taking his word for it.
Yeah, I think it worked. I think the question is what Alvin Hill is asking is is the vehicle over 13 cubic yards?
No, it
or
is
less
not.
than 13 cubic
It
yards?
is not, it's under 13 cubic yards.
Okay.
Did he give me the exact, if you want the exact make and weight of the vehicle, I'd be more than happy to give that to you. And he'll supply it. He doesn't have a problem supplying. He just told me it was 13 cubic yards. I just didn't know how detailed everybody wants to get.
The 13 cubic yards is the container he's carrying on the truck. It's a roller. So you just figure out what 13 cubic yards is, it width times height times length. That gives you what your cubic yards are of that container size.
And he purposely
Correct.
got, he bought that years ago purposely for this purpose, so that he would not go over what he's supposed to drive on state highways, state roads.
And just to clarify that, we're talking yards here, the state is concerned about.
Wait,
Wait.
yes,
Bridge law.
right,
Bridge law,
I just didn't want to get into all those figures and stuff, it's just like, it was real simple to say 13 cubic
Doesn't
yards.
say he-
To answer
Covers
Alvin's-
what the state,
to answer
Live in the
Alvin's
state.
question, it doesn't really matter what the cubic yards is, it's the weight that's
exactly,
limiting
yes,
factor on it.
yes. I'm saying cubic yards, because that's the maximum weight that he can have on the roads. 13 cubic yards is the maximum tonnage that he can have.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave me all those conversions and stuff, and I said, yeah, okay. Yeah, but.
I had no problem with what he wrote down here, I have no reason that we need to get in any contest about whether those are right or not.
Okay, so getting back to my request that, of the statement that was questioned. Because
If you want to
basically,
write and ask them on what's the basis for their question,
well, I would like for the commission to do it. And signed by the chairman or the vice chairman.
and that's to the Inland Wetlands Commission?
Yes, that would be to the Inland Wetlands Commission. I would send it over to them and put it on their agenda for the next meeting.
May I make a suggestion here, Cindy?
Sure.
Since you and Margaret and the two chairs and I are having a meeting on Thursday, that you could make that request directly to the two chairs.
I don't think it should come from me. I think it should come from the commission. I think they should agree with me.
Okay.
That-
I agree with you.
I
You
agree.
know,
I
that my
agree, yeah.
process was
So,
right.
yeah,
That's what I,
so,
you know,
I don't think it's their place to question.
no,
okay.
That's what I.
I'll make the
I
motion.
mean, I'll write it up for you and
Yeah.
have somebody sign it, but I really think it should come from the commission. And I say that because this is public information. So if somebody reads that, it makes you guys look bad, it makes our office look bad.
We have to support our staff.
Right.
I'll make I'll make the
And
motion. that
and our
the commission-
CEO and a plan, because you're doing your job. And you kind of work for us.
And this is the second time, isn't it?
Somebody that couldn't read.
This is what?
The second time that we've had an issue with,
Inland wetlands?
second issue, yeah,
Yes, it is.
so it's starting to become.
Regular practice, so I
Yeah.
make a motion that we back Cindy on this and we do what she wants from the
Absolutely.
commission.
Full support.
Second full force.
Because
Yep.
if, and always in the past, if we had an application come in where there was some inland wetland stuff involved, we used to send it to them before we
Yeah.
would make a final decision. What she was doing was her job, and she wasn't overseeing or overstepping. Am I be correct there,
I don't think I overstepped, no,
It looked like you were, or vice versa.
right.
So Jane, just for
I'm very
clarity on your
comfortable
motion,
I'm
just for
sorry?
clarity on your motion, is that motion for the commission to send correspondence to the Wetlands Commission
Yes,
to amend their?
yes, yes, to amend what was in, yes.
Yeah.
What Cindy said.
Thank you.
So I don't have to repeat the whole thing.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to get that on the.
Yes,
On the
no,
recording
yeah,
for Kevin.
no, because we have your back, Cindy.
Thank you. And so, yeah, he got his 4 truckloads and he deeded that, we call that special wetlands meeting for, site visit for. And, he still has a few more, but I said, please, get your application in.
Yeah.
So let's get this settled.
Before he
You
goes
know,
any further.
Right, and, the wetlands has to approve it before it comes to us, so. Yes, it applied to the wetlands too. Okay, any more questions on that? Thank you. Are you okay, Alvin? Okay.
Now we go to number C, discussion
Um,
of gravel operation permit for 365 Riverside Drive.
Yeah, again, that is the provost's gotten the letter, the owner's gotten the letter. I've been in touch with the owner's wife. She was in my office. They wanted me to work with them to ask Rickaby next door if they can go in the back of that property and get all those vehicles off that property. Because that's the only entrance now until they finish on the other side. But anyways, I talked to Rickaby last Thursday and she said she was gonna call these property owners and make a date with them to go into the back of that property and pull the cars down through Rickaby's property that is stored there. Because I told them you can, file all the excavation permits you want. Until those cars are gone, I'm still gonna recommend not to approve it until all those cars are off that property. The unregistered cars, they're all registered, they belong to his auto dealership in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Now, when I drove home today, there's only, I think, 2 cars left in the front. So they are working. So Provost knows everything, if they go back there, I don't think they're planning on going back for a couple of more months. He reclaimed it, he put that, path in there. And again, when I drove by coming in here tonight, it looked pretty neat. So I think we're on track with them.
And Provost got all the other.
Oh, he got
The state and all,
yeah.
all the.
Oh, yeah, he got his driveway permit. Oh, yes, definitely, because they shut him down until he got the driveway permit. And Provost got all the communication that I sent to the property owner too. When there's two, like Alex got all the communication I sent to the property owner on Hamilton property, so. And speaking of communications,
You're on to number D,
okay.
review of the zoning permit for 865 Riverside Drive.
Okay, so I gotta find my notes here, guys. Okay, yes, so that, basically, I just would like that question answered, and I know Chris would like the question answered too. I don't think I understood it right from the meeting when you were discussing that he could have the containers there. Then when I did the research with the DEP about transfer stations, the bottom line is you can only have 10 cubic yards of debris, solid waste, or whatever's in those containers. You can only have 10 cubic yards on the property. So anything else, containers on the property have to be emptied. So what I'm asking you is, at the meeting when you made the discussion about 25 containers, was that 25 maximum containers, full or empty?
Yeah.
Or was that 25 containers full, and then he could put as many other containers on his property as he wants?
No, I think it was the 25 full or empty, isn't that what?
That is what
Yeah,
I recall
yeah,
as well.
it was 25 full or empty.
That was
Yeah,
25 full.
yeah.
What are you saying?
That was 25 full. And he could have as many as he owns up there.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that-
we'll
I
have
thought
to
it
listen
was
to
20, no
the
more than
recording.
25.
No, it's 25 full or empty, that's what I recall. Mike.
Yeah. That's what I recall too, but I could, oh, okay, all right.
What'd you say?
That's not how I understood it.
No, I thought we had put the limit at 25,
Yes,
whether
was-
they were full or empty.
Yes, he was requesting like 10 full. And we said, are you sure that's gonna be enough and everything else? And we decided on the number 25. And because he owns like 40 or something, 75. It's his property, he should be able to put them up there. We're making him do it in the first place.
I will say that my understanding of that is more in agreement with Mike, that at that meeting, when you discussed it, the 25 was a cap on the full cans. And there was no limit on the empty cans because the empty cans fit the definition of the passive commercial storage. So the 25 full cans is now rendered moot because if he does that, he would need to be a transfer station.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
that discussion is rendered irrelevant. But the
Except for
whole
10 cubic
purpose was
yards.
that he was gonna store the empty cans in whatever quantity he needed, and that would fit what you and I discussed and agreed was the definition of the passive commercial storage.
That's right.
So in other words, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're running late, you got a full container, you run up, you put one on the ground, you grab an empty for the next day.
That's what we used to do.
Well, I understand
Until
that,
this
but,
mess.
excuse me,
I said until this mess.
well, you gotta take
But
it.
basically, I just wanted the clarification so that I can, like, from what I remembered, it was the 20 or 25 full containers, and then there was the no limit on the empty containers, which I believe 100% should be the case. Because if it falls under passive storage, there really should be a limit to that passive storage.
What does the, because it becomes a whole new ballgame. Like you said, with the transfer, the stuff as a transfer station.
That's only if it's full dumpsters.
Okay,
I won't have full dumpsters, and I can't now. So we all learned something
Right.
from this.
They'll be half full.
One,
About 10 yards.
10 cubic yards, that's it. And believe me, if it goes over that, I will be getting calls.
How many vehicles do you have? I mean, you don't have just one,
I have 4 trucks,
4.
but they probably wouldn't even be stored there.
How many are always in transit?
3,
3, always moving?
yeah. And I keep 2 of them at my house. And then one's at one of my driver's house.
Is it too much to ask you? I don't recall it being unlimited empty cans. I thought it was 25, but. We have like a layout of what this property is gonna look like if it is unlimited.
I'll be honest with you, I just don't want a limit on it, but the chances of me having even close to the amount of dumpsters that I have on there is probably absolutely possible. Because I use multiple lots. You know, and I mean, I do have site plans from JD Engineering for other plans. So I mean, you can kind of see how the land would be cleared, but I mean, for me I'm not doing a site plan to do a layout of.
I just want somebody to walk us through it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Brett, because I remember it as to what we both said. I don't remember unlimited, but I could be wrong on that.
I actually
Never
remember-
unlimited.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was.
I
I
actually remember
remember
Brian
that
saying,
coming up. But
I actually remember you saying, Brian, that if I have the dumpsters, we shouldn't tell him how many dumpsters he should be able to keep on his property. I do remember you saying.
I'm gonna have a bad night then tonight.
I mean, I can listen.
I
to it,
remember that clear.
The recording is there for all of you.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. We
minutes,
kind
it's
of
easy
need
enough
to
to go
go in
back.
and re-listen to what we said that night.
Well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So it came up after you left
Yeah.
with the
Mumford.
butter.
Yeah, with Mumford.
So, I mean, how does it relate to the setbacks?
Yeah,
Where he's gonna keep, if he can stuff, and I'm not saying you shouldn't use your property the way you should, right? That, it's not it's not what I'm saying at all, but there should be a limit to the setbacks or adhered to because it's portable dumpsters.
Setbacks of what, where they're parked at?
Yeah.
Position.
The buffer between the two properties with the wetlands is massive anyway. I don't know how many feet.
But we haven't seen none of,
No, I
that's the
know.
problem, you know what I mean? We got,
I mean,
we had two developers trying to do things that,
yes.
you know,
Just
just,
one is commercial property and one is residential.
Yeah.
well, we're planning and zoning, so
But they're commercial. And the other.
the
one's
property's
residential.
budding one.
I
You gotta
would
be-
like
still
more.
you gotta be- okay, hold
You
it.
have to be good neighbors, but.
Run out of time here. Hang on a minute there, Commissioner Solcy. What's going on here is that we got a gentleman that wants to develop the property on the other side of what he owns. Okay, you got the wetlands there. Now you need to picture this. I get it. But we still would like some type of a plan where you're gonna situate, because you got the baseball, you got the softball field, you know, all that stuff. And then I think is it 100 or is it 200 feet?
It's 100 feet from the.
Okay, so that all has to be in place for us to really. If you wanna put 100 containers in there,
I'm not gonna put 100 containers, so that's the thing. And I mean, for
It's
me to
not-
clear a
you're
piece of
not-
property, this is crazy.
can I finish, sir? I'm just using it as an example, but the thing is that we gotta think about the neighbors too. So if somebody comes in and it says this, says that, we have to look at it, we have to consider all of this. So if we can make a fair assessment for you as well, that's what this is all about. You wanna do businesses in the town, that's what we want.
Doesn't
You're gonna
seem
be-
that way. This is like, all I'm literally trying to do is clear some land and put some containers down on the ground.
Within
And the amount-
reason.
I've been in here, this is my third time in.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead, hang on,
No, I have something for what you said.
go ahead,
Okay.
hang on, I'll get to you.
So, number one, this is a zoning permit. This is not an application coming here. So on the zoning permits, the way permanently works is the wetlands get tasked on it. I get tasked on wetland, Bob Leo. So when he does it, I approve it, he's still not gonna get it until wetlands approves it. So wetlands will be seeing it. It's not a case of a site plan review or a special permit that wetlands has to approve it before it comes to you. Wetlands does not have to approve this before I sign off on the zoning permit. But if she doesn't sign off, if wetlands doesn't sign off, then he still doesn't get what he wants, so. So your setback is 10 feet. That's the district.
Okay.
That's your setback for property lines.
10 feet?
Your answer-
10 feet.
10
I've been
feet.
100 feet off the wetlands for.
And yeah, oh, I know,
That's-
I know, no, you were right about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
yeah.
But someone else said, where's the building, where they're gonna be parked, they're gonna be parked, 10 feet, guys, and that's what you voted on in 2020. So,
Except,
yes, go ahead.
Yes. all right, so Cindy said part of what I was gonna say,
Okay.
which is we're getting down a path of what the commission's gonna see, not see. And the discretion is Cindy's.
Yeah.
But she and I have sat down with Chris at some length. And when she brought this to you guys before, it was just to get some guidance on how she was gonna set
Right,
conditions, which she now has. And unless I am mistaken, those conditions include, if not an engineered site plan, increased buffers for the residential property beyond the 10 feet, which he has to show, and he has to show a layout. It doesn't have to be an engineered site plan. He's gonna have requirements for the building office to construct his structure. And as Cindy points out, he's gonna have requirements for wetlands. So 3 sets of eyes are gonna be on it. Now, I think it would be reasonable for this commission to say, once the permit is finally issued, would she bring it back to you in a memo at the following meeting? But the discretion is hers to issue the permit.
Good.
Because that's what a passive solar requires here.
Yep, yep.
In your, regulations.
Go ahead, Mr. Blackmore.
I got a question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Somewhere here, it says something about 10-yard dumpsters.
Yeah.
What's the dimensions of a 10-yard dumpster? I'm looking at my triaxle,
Yeah.
which holds 30 yards, and that, I think that is closer to, I think you must have dumpsters that hold 20 yards.
I have 3 sizes. Yeah, I have 10, 15, and 20 yard dump. So I don't only have 10-yard dumps.
So, but this was limited to 10-yard, unless
That's the 10 yards of waste that are allowed by the state statute that you can have on a piece of
so that
property.
doesn't have anything to do with the price of tea in China on the size of the cans that you can have there?
No, no.
Okay.
Just the material
correct,
by state statute.
correct.
Yeah, I think I had mentioned in one of my communications that he had 10, 15, and 20 yards.
Yeah, 3 sites,
Yeah.
that's.
So what was throwing me was where it said 10 yards, something was limited to 10 yards.
That's DEP for transfer license.
Yeah.
If you go over 10 yards, you've got to get a transfer license.
So if he's got 20-yard dumpsters, does he need to get a permit from DEP?
No.
No, those are full dumpsters.
It's just empty.
These are empty.
When he comes in and drops one, he's not gonna drop an empty one.
I can't drop full.
No, you don't
I-
drop,
I can't.
there are only empties that are gonna be in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were gonna swap them and then,
I wanted to originally, but then the state statute thing came up. So
okay,
I can't do it.
if it's just empty containers, I'd say.
He's gonna pop a towel up, right?
They'll be clean, they'll be neat.
I trust Cindy. so
Yeah,
I
go with
didn't-
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was all those
You-
stamps. of
you're
approval.
gonna,
You
you
were jumping
pretty
on
much
it.
got the
Yeah,
support
no,
of.
I've been doing this for months and months
Yeah.
now, and I'm just like, I can't do anything.
I understand.
I don't
My
know.
business is being kind of disrupted.
Sorry.
I understand, yeah.
I don't know if I had mentioned it, but I had gone down to Danielson and seen where he has his dumpsters parked down there. And I actually was sitting at the table with the planner and zoner from zoning official from Killingley and. You know, this comes, what you ask, you know, you share things and there was nothing negative or he had to share about Chris's.
Yeah.
Method.
Thompson Road's,
Yeah.
you know, it's probably nicer than,
That's next, guys, on the agenda.
oh, it's a nice, you know.
Thank you. And on what Cindy was just saying too about Killingley. So the lot that we use there, in the wintertime, I'll have over 30 dumpsters there. I dropped off a dumpster 2 minutes down the road today from that lot, and that person said, I never even knew you were there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not sure how you didn't know, but I'm glad you didn't. That just means there's 0 issues with what I'm doing,
Yeah.
you know?
You have a site-
Well, nobody's out there.
One too, right?
I sometimes keep dumpsters at the scrapyard,
Oh,
just in the lot down there, but just on occasion. But we're kind of all over, and that's what I'm saying, like, I've never had an issue, like, I've literally shared 6 or 7 different lots over the last 7 years, and never has there been a question on anything.
Yeah.
And we've never, like, there's nothing ever been on the ground that's been a problem.
Yeah.
No trash, we're neat, we're organized, like, we just never had an issue.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just so kind of shocked and kind of like just done with this whole situation.
Well, I think as we discussed when you came in to meet, you had the unfortunate reality of coming into town after a couple
I
of
know.
those disruptive
That didn't help you.
stuff.
I know, and I said that immediately when I saw him enter into town, because I knew what he had did elsewhere, that it was gonna be a big problem for me, and I was not,
No, you,
and I was not wrong.
well, no, but it's just,
Well,
when
I-
people complain, we gotta follow through on it, it was nothing against you, but
Yeah, no, but I just knew that it was a problem because of him originally.
now he's disappearing, so.
I actually asked, the person, I believe the person we're talking about or discussing, to please sit down with Chris and I, and Kara obviously would have been invited to discuss what both of your plans are up there.
I'm sure Chris would do.
And he refused to do it.
And he refused to do
Yes,
it.
yeah, he refused to do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a shame. Okay, sorry for that problem.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't even know if you guys knew, when I left here that night, I got into it with him in the parking lot.
Oh, my God.
So it turned into more of a problem. Yeah, but I mean, I haven't heard anything since, but he had the same exact chance to buy that property that I did. And if he knew that he was gonna do what he's doing on the property that he bought, and he should have bought the other property too, that if he was so worried about what was gonna happen on the property next door. I mean, he had the same opportunity, and he chose not to, and then he decided to cause a stink like a child when somebody bought it.
All right, are we,
We'll work with Cindy. Yeah.
okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
I appreciate it.
Sorry for the inconvenience, but sometimes it's better to go
I
slow
get it,
than try to
I
push
get
it
it.
ahead.
It's just prolonged quite a bit.
Yeah, we
You
get
can
it.
sense my frustration, but I appreciate that.
Here comes the good one. Discussion of home occupancy permit for 1313 Thompson Road.
Again, that's Chris with the dumpsters now.
Chris,
So.
you're lying.
There's
You just
other-
like to come in here and
There's
I
other-
just wanna hang out.
tear it up and hang with
I wanna be a
us.
part of it.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
dumpster guy.
yeah.
So,
Somebody's already got that name. The dumpster guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was under the impression that, again, talk about limits, and I could go back to the minutes, I could read the recording. I just thought it was like maybe 4 or 5 dumpsters on that property, on 1313 that he's gonna fence in. But today he told me it was going to be 10 dumpsters,
So
so.
I don't know if we ever talked about a certain amount of number there, because
Up
we didn't,
up
we
there,
didn't,
I think we did.
I wasn't sure if we actually got that far because we
Yeah.
were so deep into the other part of it.
Yeah.
But I can fit 12 dumpsters there, I don't need to, but that's what I can fit there, so I mean, I'm willing to work on that. Because we'll put, again, we move dumpsters from Mass and Connecticut. So if we have, we do Mass on Tuesdays and Thursdays, if we know we have a busy day on Tuesday, a lot of our dumpsters are in Connecticut, so we'll place the empty ones there, so we have an easier,
And that's your
an easier grab
driver's,
spot.
your driver's
Correct.
property, yeah.
Yeah, so we have an easier
Yeah.
grab spot rather than going all the way to Killingly, then we can grab those and
Yeah,
have
I
our
thought we
routing be
put
more
down a
efficient.
limit on that one too.
No, we didn't.
I don't
Um,
know.
There should be a limit on
Okay,
that, 'cause
see,
I
I
can't fit.
don't, I'm not.
We didn't put down a limit, but we did ask him to cover the dumpsters that did have anything in them.
Well,
We
once again,
didn't
you would
ask
be
for
able to
anything
do
else,
that.
and we left it up to her. Because he's trying to do the property in town, to use that one temporarily to
Yeah,
get what he
yeah.
needs to get done. That's what we had discussed.
So then after the fact, I found out about the home occupancy permit, that's when me and Cindy started talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I put up a fence, if I can still use that property as like the empty storage for the deliveries for Mass, then I want to do that. Cause it is right on, it's right on the line.
So that those dumpsters are gonna be empty on that property. And all the time, because no one ever questioned it to me, until recently. I have never received a complaint in the office, there were dumpsters parked on,
I believe you brought up that, building
yeah.
department brought it, your attention.
I was just-
And that's why he came in.
Yes,
His dumpsters have been 99% of the time empty and placed nicely and never had a problem. No trash was coming out of it, even when it was uncovered. But we had discussed about putting a cover on it just in case.
Yeah.
And then left it to your discretion with the dumpsters being there.
okay,
Yeah.
Well,
you're
that
right,
settles
you're
that.
right, Russ, that,
So-
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Thank you, Russ.
yeah, yeah, that's right.
This could be
I'll call you.
fine. Yeah, okay,
Fair
all right.
So that,
Yeah, see.
so the
Okay.
home, the home occupancy is
Yeah,
all in
yeah.
your hands, correct?
Yes, yeah, and that's what I just brought it just to clarify, the amount of dumpsters, so.
Yeah, the amount of dumpsters, like I said, was never specified. It was left to your discretion
Okay,
about him using that property.
okay,
And there was never any talk about a fence either.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
I think, no, he said he would do
Yeah,
it.
it was
I said we do it to,
Yeah,
to alleviate any.
yeah,
issues.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Okay.
because it's not that much of a, it's only a couple of pieces of fence along that side, right? So.
Hey.
I'm finished.
All right, thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Have a good one, sir.
Take care.
All right, go off to F, continued discussion of approval of state of town property. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay, so, one, I need more clarification on this. I have looked at the property. I also have a map here. That Ray is sick, so that's why he's not here tonight. But if you want to take one and pass it around, it's not designating where the town lots are, but it certainly shows where some of the, what do we call them, the paper roads or whatever, and they are straight. There was a question about that. I know somebody else was checking into that as well. I need more clarification on this, and I also understand that we didn't discuss what, to my understanding, was what the Board of Selectmen wanted us to discuss that night. We only ended up doing the, Jazerskia the two lots, and they wanted us to discuss all of the lots. I also looked at the town map, an overview, you know, like with a drone type thing. I was very surprised at all the water that is in that area with all those lots. I need more clarification on this before I can even begin to say, yeah, we can, this is good or this isn't good or whatever. I would like to be able to have a subcommittee on this so that we can really get into what is in there. I have also I spent 2 hours in there a couple of weeks ago walking this property. And I really think that we should have a more in-depth discussion on this before we do anything about it. Because there's a lot more in there than I thought, plus also too, there is the concern over some of the species, the endangered species that are in the wetlands in there. We're coming into the wet season. We are in the wet season, the vernal pools and everything else. So I really would like to see more discussion on this and have a subcommittee on it so that we can get it right the first time and not do something that we might regret.
Just hang on.
I'm okay for now. I just want to hear everybody else's.
Okay, well, I just want everybody here to, as we continue, we get to you. I've got the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Selectmen that night. And it was a motion made by Suzanne Wachowski, seconded by Kim Bosley, to send to planning and zoning for review of the request to acquire lots 5 and 6. In addition, a review of the surrounding town-owned parcels within the Lake District. It carried unanimously.
Okay,
To
and
your
yeah, that's what I
you
heard. Yeah.
answering to what you
Yeah,
asked
okay, so
for.
they did ask for us to discuss the whole thing.
Now you may,
When Amy came into my office, she said, could you please bring up what was lots 4 and 5?
4 and 5, yeah.
5 and 6.
5 and 6 to the zoning commission, and that was all
That
that
was
was said
it.
to me.
But
I
that's not what.
understand, but this is what was sent to me. Because that's what they wanted. They want this all done in one group.
Well, then they
Everything,
should have
the
told
whole-
me that at that
Huh?
point. They should have told me that.
I'm not
Yeah.
faulting you.
Should've,
I'm
could've,
just,
they make those
that's
work.
why we got into that thing. And we got some commissioners that are not completely satisfied because there is some lots there that can be put out for bid. Okay, but you want to review it and make sure that what this is all done right.
Yeah.
Okay, you got anything else to say?
Yeah, I'm gonna repeat it. My request from Amy
Make
was
sure
to
you get
put
that.
lots 5 and 6 on the agenda to vote to sell those lots, you know, put those 2 lots up for sale. That's what I was
Hang
told
on there.
to do, and that's what I did.
Okay, Tara, go ahead.
So I think I understand what Jane's issues are that she wants clarity.
I want total clarification on this one. Yeah.
Which is fine, but I think we actually need to make a distinction here between the 2 lots in question, 5 and 6, which are a specific request to purchase, that is a statutory 824 referral to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Any discussion of the other parcels would be outside that
That's right.
824 consideration, and all that the commission really has to decide there is whether they would approve the individual sale to a by open bid process to one private resident on those 2 parcels, and then it would still have to go to town meeting after that. So it's not really
Not
an
necessarily.
approval.
Not- yeah.
I think it does.
Now,
Not if
I,
it's a deed restriction.
No, the sale itself.
We can't sell property, it has to go out. to
that's
bid.
got a bid.
It's gotta go to bid. We
But
gotta
even
take the word
before it goes-
sale out of the whole thing. See, that's where everybody's getting
Even
confused.
before it goes
Hang on a
out to
minute there,
bid, it
Commissioner.
has to be
Well,
approved.
this is your guys' thing, so I'm going to release you.
Cause we, remember when, 1375 Riverside Drive, the people that wanted to purchase that property next to them, that used to be the stove shop and everything, and that had to go out for bid, they couldn't just buy, and it went out for bid for around 30,500, whatever. It had to go through the process, came to us, we okayed it, under the, like you said, with the conditions, this or whatever, because there was a brownfield grant there and all this other stuff. So it's in the same realm. We cannot sell property. Town property cannot just go out and be sold. We okay it, goes back to the board of first selectmen, back to the board of selectmen, then it goes to a town meeting, and then the townspeople have the final say, yes, no, or indifferent. But we, that's the proper procedure. Go ahead, Mr. Santos.
I think why the selectmen are lumping these things together, or at least asking us in addition to the 2 properties is. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. They just want, I think we all need to agree on what the mechanism is, or what the structure is, if we were to sell a piece of property in this particular map, right? I had stated this the last time we were in that special meeting, was either a deed restriction or a conservation easement. And I think we need to agree on that, because there's a whole bunch of pieces of property in here. You wouldn't want to do one method for lot 5 and the other method for lot 7 and so on and so forth, right? So I think that's what's being asked of us.
But they wanted it, according to what I just read to you, Brian.
Yeah,
They wanted us to look at 5 and 6 for Jaworski's, because those are actually, those 2, if you look at the map, the real good map, those 2 properties aren't really in wetlands. The next, or is it 7 and 8? After that is where the wetlands start.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
and there are landlocked lots in there, but I was dumbfounded by the amount of water that was in there. It's been ages since I've been in there and how much it has changed.
Brian?
And the wildlife endangered species have to be looked at also, and there are animals in there that are classified as protected. So that's why I'm asking for, thank you, Brian. That's why I am asking that we have a subcommittee on this to really make sure we are getting this correct.
Didn't,
And I understand the process. Town cannot sell money and land. It has to go out to bid. The town has to vote on it after it has gone out to bid and the person has come in. But I want more clarification. Look at it. None of us know exactly what we're supposed to be doing on this. So I really would like to see a subcommittee on this so that we have all the input that we need so that we can make an intelligent decision on this. And I get it, just the lot 5 and 6 or whatever it was for Jaworski. I even made the statement at that meeting that I felt that should, if he said he's only looking for privacy. If we put it into wetlands, he gets the privacy and that land is protected because there's a lot of water in there also. So
That land
the-
wasn't in the wetlands map though.
I'm sorry?
That wasn't in the wetlands. map.
No, I actually went to his property. I walked and yeah, it's not exactly in the wetlands, but it is
borders
definitely,
it.
it borders it. And that's why I want more clarification. That's why I would like, and I'm asking for a subcommittee. I'm making well, I won't make the motion yet. But I really would like more clarification on this so that I know that we get this right and know that we're all on the same page.
Well, it's not just that, is that we have, from my summation of what I'm looking at is, yes, we do have some good property down there that we should keep for conservation, and it's helping us with our 15%
Yeah.
by the state thing.
Yeah.
But there are some that I think we should just say, okay,
Our landlocked ones that
Yeah.
can go out to
can,
bid.
can I
Yeah,
finish?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The thing is this, if we can sit down and get, because once we open that door.
Yeah.
We're opening the door, so we gotta be very careful how we do this. You know, for all the neighbors, because your mother-in-law, because I know where she lives, I've known her, so. All those people down in that neighborhood can, say, well, what about me? What about me? That,
Well, I did research on this because it really piqued my interest the last special meeting, so I want more research on it. I'm not handing it out to confuse people. Each method has a cost to it. There's a process to it.
correct.
So I did an evaluation of conservation easements and deed restrictions, and that's what I handed out. Just to aid in helping people understand, like, there's key factors of there's cost efficiencies with deed restrictions, there's administration simplicity, from what I've gathered, right? And then we can control it a little bit. It is not the common application in the state of Connecticut to do deed restrictions. They're usually done with conservation easements, but considering our financial situation in this town, conservation easements cost a lot more than deed restrictions, in my opinion.
Well, the assessor more or less came down on that same thing as well and suggested that if there was a sale, that it wouldn't be a conservation easement, it would be a restrictive covenant on the deed.
Yeah,
That was
It's the
Paul's
same thing.
recommendation.
Yeah.
so I just handed out information. I don't disagree that maybe we should have a further in-depth conversation about this. I recognize that we're talking about two pieces of land, but I feel like this is setting the tone for the rest of these pieces of property.
Yeah.
And we
And other
should-
parties
Yeah.
make it
So,
precedent.
I'm happy to send out a doodle poll to set the subcommittee meeting. I actually think, Brian, that this memo that you prepared would be helpful as a substitute for an agenda, because although, again, I understand that James wants some clarity. Since the specific reference from the Board of Selectmen was the 2/8/24 referrals, I think you have to consider them separately as well. You've had the subcommittee on the 8/24, you have the subcommittee on the disposition of the larger parcels, and then you want to make the decision on the 8/24. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But this, I think that Jane, you missed it. We were just discussing Brian's memo a little bit. Since everybody's seeing this right now and hasn't seen it previously.
Yeah, sure.
If I send out a doodle poll, that'll give everybody time to review this, and then we can take this as the basis for
I
discussion.
think that answers.
Go ahead, Mr. Krugel, then you, Mr. Hill.
Okay. What I'm getting out of this is the town is requesting us to give permission to sell 2 pieces of land.
Yeah, how do you go about it?
That's it.
That's it. We say yes or no.
Yeah,
There's no other restrictions involved.
I don't think so.
I agree with you, Brian. I don't think so. I don't think
That's not
it's
the way
been
it
that.
works, in my
That's
opinion.
not the way you work. If I want to buy a piece of property from you, it's a transaction, a monetary transaction, there, unless you wish to put restrictions on the property.
But
Yeah,
it's
sure.
still-
No, I would agree with you, but the last time we talked about this in the special meeting, there was
Which I missed, okay?
a restriction that was, in my opinion, people wanted, right? And that was to make it conserve the land, don't build on it, like there was just
We don't
a
have
few
that
things
right.
talked about it.
We don't have that.
Yes,
right.
we do.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
We do. We have the legal right to do it.
Well, we do, we have a deed restriction, I just handed it out.
So,
It is a
the
legal-
property owner.
All right. Enough.
I mean, this.
Hang
is-
on. Didn't you, contact a lawyer on this too, get some, feedback on some of this stuff that what Brian just brought up.
Yeah, and I will say, I didn't go back and look over the minutes from the subcommittee meeting very closely because really, when we left that meeting, my impression was that this commission was gonna vote to not approve. I will say this about the 2/8/24 referral parcels in question. The way that they've been discussed, I think every option gets you to the same place, which is that the two lots aren't gonna be developed. But to Brian's, and I think Jane's point is that, that if the town is gonna be consistent on any future requests within that large block of tax foreclosed properties, I do think that's fair to say everybody should be treated the same. So either they're all gonna be available for 8/24 referrals, and if sold, they're all gonna have restricted covenants on the deeds. Because what everybody seemed to be saying was they didn't want to see any further development because of the NDDB implications and the wetlands implications. I mean, Ray was suggesting that somebody should form a land trust now.
Yeah, it's money.
Yeah, that's not really on the table. The town's not going to do that, and there's no private interest
Agreed.
indicated. But all of the options that you guys have discussed have sort of had this hanging thing over it, like nobody really wants to see any of them built on. So again, you can accomplish that in several ways. You can deny the sale. You can approve the sale with the recommendation of a restrictive covenant on the deed. And you could theoretically say that you would recommend to the selectmen that no further lots be released. That's probably the least favorable. I think it should be, they're all one way or the other, but I think that's where your subcommittee meeting would be useful.
That, exactly. None of us know all the answers. We need to go over this a little bit more in depth to get all our questions answered before we make a decision on this. That's the way I've always run. I'm still running that way. Brian, what you've given, yeah, I need more answers on this. None of us know for sure exactly. And it can't be sold. It has to go out to bid. So I think we need to gather some more information on this before we even consider a vote on any of it, even though we're just talking about technically those two lots. We need to get more information on this before we can make an educated vote on it.
All right,
I can do a poll for a.
hang on.
Okay,
No, I got Alvin too.
Yeah, I'll be third.
Go ahead, Alvin, you're next. And then to you, Mike, and then to you, Dave.
Are we making this more complicated than it should be? I guess that's my question. We were asked by the Board of Selectmen to do an approval of these two lots. So.
After the.
That's my.
Hang on. Go ahead, Mike. Hang on a minute, Mr. Hill. I'll get you an answer on that. Go ahead, Mr. Cruz.
Okay, I understand there are heated feelings and everything else. But again, I believe the town asked us to give an okay of whether or not to put some property onto the market. And when we use the word sold, we all know it has to go out to bid. So, but it is still being sold, okay? But that being said, nobody, if people don't like something being built there, they have the right to bid on that property as much as anyone else. Once that property is sold to the highest bidder, it still has to go through everyone else, wetlands or zoning or whatever else to meet the requirements to get a structure onto that property. So,
If wetlands are there, it isn't gonna
yeah, and
happen.
if wetlands are there, it's not gonna happen.
But private.
So, and you can't tell me if it's not in the wetland district,
Well,
that I cannot build
Michael,
on that property.
Michael, the thing is, 5 and 6 is here, 5 and 6 are here, 7 and 8. And
Yeah,
if you were to
but what
look at a good map, you will see where the pink is. Tara had it up,
Yeah,
On the
if
thing.
the monitor wasn't dead, I could pull it up.
I understand, but there was a pink, and that pink where it said that was wetlands in 7 and 8 was, I'd say it was within 30 feet of the
30
boundary.
feet is not my problem. It's not on the property of 5 and 6.
Okay, let me, all right, go ahead, Dave.
So the problem was he owns 2 front parcels and this would make it developable, is that a word?
Yeah.
He could develop.
We'll accept it.
Should he win the bid, successfully get the bid, he can develop those lots, which is why we wanted to talk about restriction. But the problem is, it's contiguous with the rest of those town lots. So if you pull those 2 out, you're still leaving those other lots that are water, that are non-buildable. And he has the ability to build. So that was where
That's
I
what it
guess
came down.
that's where it came down to. So that's where I brought it up. I said, you know, I don't think we should sell it too, because it's one contiguous piece. Either you buy the contiguous piece or bid the contiguous piece
You
out.
wanted it for more
or-
privacy.
Yeah, so, it,
Okay,
People
all right.
say a lot
that was
of-
my input, so.
No, you're correct. Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you, David. Because that's exactly what I was gonna say. This land, these 2 lots are connected with, I walked that. I spent 2 hours out there. And I walked it. And we don't have enough information
I'm
to
not
even
disputing
vote.
that.
Excuse me? No, but we don't, what I am disputing is we don't have enough information to go ahead and say, oh, yeah, let's put this out to bid. We need more information before we make that decision. This is attached to the, yeah,
What information are we looking for?
what I want is one, facts of what can be done, flooding, the water. I mean, literally right next to that part, those 2 lots, it's water. And I also found out that they say, 100 feet from the wetlands. No, there are areas that it's required to be 200
Okay,
feet
but that
away
would still
from
meet
it.
the wetland requirements afterwards.
I'm sorry?
That would be the wetland requirements afterwards.
That would be,
Wishes
it
to
would
build.
go to inland wetlands, James.
I do
all-
understand that.
And if this
I
person
understand.
has the
You're right.
ability to
All right,
build land,
enough.
then he does.
The thing is James, is that all we need to do is concentrate on that, but we also have to concentrate on the rest. So if we can, you wanna settle this tonight on 5 and 6? We can do it, or, hang on, and then still have the subcommittee for the rest of the stuff, because we still have to deal with that,
May I make a recommendation?
no.
Might find it helpful.
Go ahead.
My recommendation, based on this discussion, is that you table the
Mhm.
824 referral to your next meeting again. And set a subcommittee meeting to
Yeah.
discuss not the 824 referral, because you've already actually discussed that. But the disposition of the properties in general to set a general policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and then, and we'll
That's why I
use
gave you
Brian's memo as our
Yeah.
discussion memo. And that will give us
I-
some
thank
structure,
you
so
for this.
I
This is
will
gonna be
doodle
helpful.
poll
Yeah.
that tomorrow, but you
Yeah.
guys need to make the motion.
I make
to
the
table.
motion that we do exactly what Tara said. We table it. We table it until we go through everything. please.
Well, no, the thing is,
Well,
we're tabling,
okay,
we're
that-
just tabling, was it
Into
820?
the 824
The
referral.
824, that's
Table.
gonna be on the site, we cannot bring that into the conversation
Okay,
of this next subcommittee. The
Okay.
subcommittee that we're gonna have is gonna do with everything else that's
Okay.
around the property,
All right.
correct?
yeah, that sounds good. We table it and then we have the subcommittee so that we know what we're doing.
All right, so I'll send that out tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, okay. Okay, I made that motion.
One item.
So, yeah, you need to.
I need a
She's right,
second.
Sarah, could you
Second.
clarify
Hang on.
the assessor's comment on the plan for the?
Yeah, Paul had recommended, selling that, not with a conservation easement, but with a restrictive covenant on the deed. It's a slightly different process, but accomplishes mostly the same thing.
Restrictive covenant, that was.
Yes.
Who's,
It's my section.
okay, thank you.
Just as a point of, can you have your assessor look at my memo?
Sure, could you
Look over.
actually email it to me?
I can do that, right? Oh, it's my pleasure. Everybody's
Do
getting.
you have internet access on here?
Now, the whole thing is.
I have one question.
And then how close you can.
Well,
Yes.
I make the motion and Brian seconded it.
Oh, I'm
so-
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I made the motion and Brian seconded it. That,
You can,
Jane,
it'll be open for discussion.
yeah,
and
I
stuff
take,
tonight.
we table the
The 824.
824.
So that one we
Yeah.
cannot touch.
Yeah, and then we
Okay.
do, and then,
That we just deal with what we have to deal with, whatever the parcels, we call them parcels. That's just about
okay,
what
so
they are.
the first motion I am making is we table the 824 until the next meeting. That would be the first motion. Then after we vote on that, I'll make the second motion to do the subcommittee to get more information on this. So
Is that agreed upon?
I don't actually think you need a motion.
I don't think.
No,
oh, okay, all right, okay,
no, we're just agreeing that we're gonna
table it,
table it.
okay,
And that means it's gonna go
to next month.
next month, and then we'll have a subcommittee for the remainder of what we were supposed to
Okay.
do. So,
Okay.
which is good.
Okay,
Which is
Yeah.
lots 4 and 5? No.
No.
Five and
no,
six.
Five and six
Five and
are
six,
being
I'm sorry.
yeah,
tabled.
that's what's being tabled.
That's being tabled. That's the 824.
Correct.
Yes,
I just sent it.
Thank you.
Okay,
okay, so that
Okay.
motion's
I
been
wasn't a
made.
part of that one, so that's why I'm asking.
yes,
Information.
that was the so-called what was put on the original agenda last month.
Because I also remember Amy saying she really didn't want to sell any of, you know. like
Yes,
that's
she
what-
said it. It's in the minutes of the
Yeah,
meeting.
Yeah.
It's in the-
So we'll be talking about the rest of the
Yeah.
land that's around that.
Yeah,
You look,
Actually,
you-
yeah, you're setting the
Can you
future
get some
policy
Yeah.
for 824
Yeah.
referrals in this area.
yeah,
because
That's
they,
really what you're gonna be doing.
because
Yeah.
it was a motion made at the board of selectmen to put 5 and 6 up for bid and then, and also review all the property, but we only did
all additional 13 lots.
the
It's
more
more
than
than
13.
there's more than 13 Alvin.
Yeah,
When
when, no, that first rendering I sent
Looks
was
like 19
was zoomed in on the
lots.
area.
That-
It's like 50 or 60 lots.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of lots. in
There's
there.
a lot of lots that goes
And
right
there's
up
actually
to,
another across the
Yeah.
street.
Okay.
right up to Bula Road.
Yep,
So instead of 20 people talking, we're gonna table the rest of this
yep,
We have to
to
vote
a
on the motion.
subcommittee meeting that's gonna go out by Tara tomorrow. And then the 2 lots, 5 and 6 are done with. Okay, let's move on. Thank you.
yep.
We still have to vote on the
We
motion.
have to vote on the motion.
We have to vote. Cause I got a lot of questions towards this land of other stuff, so I'm gonna wait till the next meeting. I'm
The
not gonna
subcommittee.
sit here all night and talk about.
No, we're not
something.
talking, that's
Really
what we're
valid.
trying to do, is
That's
the
what we're trying to
subcommittee
do.
together. Okay?
Well, I just hope that.
Okay.
I know you did, right?
Okay.
So now we got that all taken care of, new business.
Still have to vote on the motion.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm voting on it. See what happens.
You can
Okay,
do it with a
motion-
voice vote. You
Yeah.
don't need to do it.
Okay, voice,
Yes.
Yes.
opposed? Unanimous. Anything else? No, you wanna bring up why we're jogging along here? Okay, now, here we go. New business, what we have for new business? Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay, beautiful. Review of the ZBA minute. There was no meeting. Citizen comments. Do we have anybody?
Citizens, yeah.
Well, this Zoom room, anybody in the Zoom room who would like to make a comment, either use the raise hand function, or if you can't find it or don't know how to use it, just take yourself off mute and announce yourself.
Next one is commissioner comments.
I'll watch that over here.
Make it quick.
I only have a question.
Yeah,
That's his comment, not question.
It may be a long question.
no, no.
Okay,
Come
so
on, make it
Word
quick.
the last.
if we approve this, say, the sale of property. Isn't it the property owner's right to set the conditions or the deed restrictions to that property? Which in this case would be the town?
That's us.
No, that's not, that's the selectmen.
Oh, I see what you're asking.
Yeah, don't buy this now.
And
So
I'm
you
just
would,
asking that
so,
question
so
we-
I understand what you're saying. So the planning and zoning commission in that instance would be advising
Advising.
the board of selectmen to place.
Yeah.
Right, so yes, you are technically correct. It is not technically the planning and zoning commission who would set,
So when we
That
vote on
condition.
something, this we have to make the
it would be the recommendation to transfer to allow the disposal of the property with a restrictive covenant on the deed. Yes, you are technically correct in that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Good. All right, on to the next one. Next meeting, number 17. Next meeting is May 26, 2025 at 7 PM at the town of Taunton Town Hall in the Merrill Snee Room.
Is it May twenty-sixth or is that Memorial Day?
May 26, it says it right here in front.
No, didn't we change that?
We changed only
Yeah,
one,
we
one
did.
holiday
To the
now, it's in
19th.
December, I
I
believe.
think we
Yeah.
changed that. We voted on changing it because it is Memorial Day weekend, so.
May 19th.
May
May
19th,
19th.
yeah, May 19th.
Here we go, we would have been in trouble again. Okay, the next meeting will be May 19th, 2025, 7 PM to Taunton Town Hall in Merrill City Road. Number 18,
Make a motion to adjourn.
I
Dave.
second.
Dave, motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, let's move.
Good evening, everyone.
That's good.
Uh,